Happy birthday to you. Are you sure? Did I ever get my work off my machine? I did not. Alright, got my mic unmuted now. See if I can get this to work. Is this on now? Looks like it is. Cool. Howdy, folks. It's a super rainy day. Super rainy Friday, but I'm hoping to stream a little bit of Firefox color. Maybe some other things. Looks like my little fireworks spot might not be working. That's a sad story. Wonder if I can revive it. Lives on glitch. Seems like it's running. Are you in there, Caffeine Bot? Oh, Sparkle Bot, anyways. Well, there's a Caffeine Sparkle here. What's going on with you, little bot? Anyway. I probably should have gotten all this squared away before I hit the button to start streaming, but it's been kind of a hectic day. I'm hoping to refocus myself to work on some Firefox color today. Hopefully getting close to having the feature I've been working on for a month or so now mostly wrapped up. Got an echo on the mic. Uh-oh. No, that's happening. Let me see. Pause the music real quick. Coming up on my desktop audio? Oh, I know what it is. I have a boom mic and I have a headset mic, and I had them both unmuted. Hopefully that fixes. And I was looking at the wrong audio source in OBS, so hopefully that fixes things. Thanks for telling me about the echo. Hopefully that fixed it. Oh. It's been a day of technical difficulty so far. Hopefully I can turn that around. But I'd really like my fireworks to work. That's a new feature I've been trying to get to work on the stream. I don't know if I'm logged into Glitch on my streaming browser. Here, let me turn on the scene switcher so you can stop looking at my face. Trying to kill a bunch of processes here so things maybe work a little faster. That's my usual problem. Maybe I'll stop complaining about that by, like, say, next spring, if I get a new laptop. There's a couple things I've been playing with. I don't know. I'm going to jump into Firefox Color in a second. I want to see if I can revive my little bot here, since it seems to not be responding the messages right now. I'm also trying to remember where I left off with color. I think where I left off with color is I was reworking the user interface design for the image uploading. And that's what I'm going to hopefully jump back into in a minute. I'm kind of hoping I can get it done today. Although maybe I should first look into What processes are killing my machine? Maybe I don't want to have OBS set at real-time priority. Just set that at high priority so my computer can get some other work done, maybe. Alright. Okay, how you doing, little bot? Looks like the bot's working. Let's see if it'll listen to any messages. Oh, that's the wrong message. There we go. That's more like it. So I'm going to start playing around with some more commands and little special effects on my channel, and one of them I built last weekend is this little fireworks effect. Hey program, thanks for the follow. How you doing? Been kind of lurking on your channel a little bit. This weekend, actually another thing I might play around with this weekend, this thing, which will probably make some folks vomit. I've been wanting to make a wheel of side projects. And like a literal spinning wheel of side projects. Because I have too many ideas. And then when I go to work on any single one of them, my brain is like, why aren't you working on one of these other dozens you've thought of? So I was just kind of screwing around with CSS transitions and animations last night to see what a wheel might look like. So this was kind of cool. I don't know. Took a bulleted list and turned it into a wheel and then gave it this little stupid animation. So I don't know. I might play with this some more this weekend. Give it a little mask so you can't see the whole wheel. And I might do like a Saturday night or Sunday night stream of start off by spinning the wheel, pick one of my stupid side project ideas and start working on it. Anyway, that's not what I'm hoping to work on today. But I know my little fireworks bot is working, so I can pop my stack and go back to what I was going to start on. And that is Firefox Color. If it will load. Let me see what else I can kill in terms of processes. I usually manage to clear the decks before I start the stream, but I kind of kept running into things that I had to take care of and then finally just said, screw it, I'm going to hit the go button, start going. I need Spotify, I need Chrome because that's on my other screen. I don't need this box right now. I was actually amazed because last stream I could see a tiny, tiny, tiny sliver of spare CPU, so I wasn't pegged out at 100% the whole time. That's not happening for me this time. But maybe we can be productive anyways. Alright, so this is Firefox Color. It's a test pilot.firefox.com experiment for editing your theme. And I am adding the ability to upload images from your local hard drive. And I'm getting pretty good, and it's functional now, so you can do it if you were to use my branch of the site. You can upload images. And well, upload, I mean import, because they don't actually upload anywhere but your browser. They don't leave your machine. So let's load the add-on, because the add-on is what talks to the website. And it loaded up my last theme that I had set, so that's cool. And the site should recognize, I know what I last left on. Okay, so I was trying to style the image upload button and not having much luck. Because this one works. So what I'm trying to do is hide this and do this. And this is not rocket surgery, folks have done this before. It's just that I'm not a CSS wizard. So I can import images, but then when I try to use this second instance of it, no work. Clicky, no work. So what was I doing with the CSS? I still got the files open. So one of the things that I tried to make sure to do, so the way this works basically in terms of CSS strategy, I guess, is I got this image importer component, and it's got the input element, and that's what actually brings in the file. And then I've got a button, or I've got a label that I'm going to style as a button. And it has the same ID as the file input. And the ID is derived from an ID for the component, which, going up the tree, every component on the page should have its own ID. So I don't think I'm doing the wrong thing there, but as far as I can tell, the DOM structure is correct. Yeah, so like the input element has an ID. It's unique to this thing. It's a different ID than the first one that worked. So these IDs match, these IDs match, they're not the same. It's the same component, but it's different instances, but none of the ones down below work. Now the weird thing is that the image input, or the file input element itself works, just not my label. So I can import another image, and it'll show up eventually. My machine's slow, so I'll give it a minute. Right top. So all that stuff still works, and I can also change the image. So the original file input works. It's just this label isn't working. And I guess so. Is there something wrong with this ID? I mean, I guess I can start throwing random guesses at it and see what happens. Alright, well, let's see. I'm gonna try something else. I'm gonna try just to see if it's the ID itself. This is supposed to be a unique ID for all these components, so I'm just gonna say foobar. So if I have one background on the screen, or if I have one background on the interface, that should work, right? I have hot module replacement going, so I thought maybe that would update immediately, but maybe not. Still building. Could also still be building. It is still building. Oh, I know the other thing I did last week. To save some CPU cycles. Let's do this real quick. It's coming back to me. Actually, not last week, just Wednesday. That's what this week has done to me. I created a new start mini function, so I could, or npm script, so I can do start mini, and so start by itself runs, it runs tests, it runs code linting, it runs add-on validation. It also happens to run the website and the add-on build. But all I want to do right now is run the add-on build and the site. So my mini should do that. Maybe that's why I think I was getting some CPU back. I killed some of my processes. I've talked about this before, but what this is doing is I've got an npm script here using npm run all in parallel, and it runs two Webpack processes in parallel. One builds a Firefox add-on, and the other builds the website, and the two talk to each other. And of course, with any file change, because there are file watchers here, each Webpack process will rebuild the respective files. So ideally, I never have to look at this window while I'm working. Alright, let's reload this. Should still have my theme in there. And I haven't made any changes to the add-on, so I shouldn't have to reload that. It's taking a long time. I guess the thing might still be reloading. Yeah, it's still rebuilding. So it built the add-on already, but it's still building the site. Meanwhile, what else can I kill on my machine here? Close that. There it goes, there's the site. It should be reloading already in the background. There it goes. Oh, I know, I don't need this other browser window opener. Alright, so it lost my theme. That's suboptimal, but maybe it's another bug to look at in a second. Okay, well, let's try adding a theme again. These are one of my saved themes. They do come with images, that's cool. Kill that one. And again, the change I just made is to try to give this thing an add-on of just foobar and see if... Not? That's weird. So... actually, I just noticed something. So the weird thing about these... So when I click on this one, nothing happens in the DOM. When I click on this one... Oh, don't make a liar of me, I just saw it. There it goes. So when I click on this one, I see a little something happen in the DOM over here. What I think is happening is that my label click... So actually, let's do this. This list has a drag and drop higher order component attached to it. So I can reorder the images. And you can see when I click and hold on this, all kinds of stuff happens over here. What's probably happening is that drag and drop component is swallowing up the event on my label. And like trying to initiate a drag. Now that's interesting because it does not do that to my buttons. So I'm wondering if that drag and drop thing is specifically built to not do anything to buttons. Okay. I'm gonna try something else. Let's see. Is there an on my... So it's definitely not the ID. I think the ID is fine, so I can undo what I just did here. Oh, this song has no end time. This is another problem with this chip machine that I'm playing with. Some songs don't have an ending. And then like 10 minutes later, I realized that, say, Don't Forget Your Salami has been playing for my entire stream. That's a pretty cool song, but it never ends. Okay. What if I did... Actually, you know what? I'm going to look at... What am I using for drag and drop? I forget. I'm wondering if maybe there's a bug about this or a workaround for this. Because I'm pretty sure that's what's happening, is when I click on that label, the drag and drop machinery comes into play, and I think it's React... No... React Sortable. Okay. I think that's what I'm using. Let me Google that real quick. And it works pretty well, but I'm wondering if it's running into this. Are there any issues about this? Is there something like about label? No. Well, so what I might try doing is maybe put a click handler or something on my label to see. The whole reason that I'm using that label, though, is to activate that input element without any JavaScript. Oddly enough, because I don't. Can you activate a file input with a JavaScript synthetic event? If I could type, it'd be nice too. I want to click it. I'm gonna click it from JavaScript. Because maybe I can't just do this with a plain old, Yeah, this is what I want. Can I do this? Programmatically opening a file dialog with JavaScript. Maybe the label thing is, a little too clever. Is that as simple as it is? Is just trigger, click? Oh, nope. I guess. Okay, so it looks like, yeah, this is what I'm looking at. So as long as it's initiated from a user action, i.e. a click, I can open it. So I'm going to rejigger this component a little bit and see if I can make it work. Because the label should work, but I think the click is getting intercepted by my drag and drop. But maybe, since there's JavaScript capturing that event, I need to use JavaScript to preempt that. So let's see. Well, the first thing I do need is to say this file input element is null. And then I want to say how about so I'm just trying to capture the file input element once React has rendered it. This is kind of a big fat hack. And I change this to a button. Since the label's not going to work, why do we even bother with that? What I want to do with this is say on click. And I'm going to neaten this up in a minute, but I'm just kind of being hacky about it right now. Let me say if we've got a file input element, because it's not guaranteed that we do, because I think that ref function gets called a few times before it finally gets a real reference. Is that how you do it? Is that the syntax? I don't do this all that often. Is that what they said? Trigger? Yeah, but that's jQuery. I'm not using jQuery. How if I could type? Is it just click? Maybe I can just do that. Excuse me. So maybe it is just click. Let's see if it's just that easy. So that should have got, there we go. So that got rid of our labels, and now we just have, oof. Look at that, it's trying to, it kind of worked, but I think it also tried to start a drag and drop. So the button works. Maybe I can continue on though. Let's try this. There's some kind of ugly CSS in here. But I've just uncommented the CSS that I'm using to hide the original input element. Because I just want that stylable button to be there. And my hot module replacement, unfortunately, does not hot reload CSS. Seems like. And I've lost the theme again. That is a bug I'm going to have to figure out. My theme should not reset on reload. Actually, no, before I forget, I'm going to add that to my to-do. This should not be an issue, but apparently it is. So it seems like it's a regression of some kind. Again, that's my to-dos up there, way above my head. Corner. The folks playing the home game can follow along. Alright, so cool. We've got just a plain old upload image button, which indeed seems to be working in my background image items. Cool. Why is that text highlighted? I don't know why that text is highlighted. Anyway, so that's all working. That's not what I expected to happen, but okay. That's all working. Cool. So what did I have to do to make that happen? Ah, that's cool, never mind. So I made a few changes, and actually a lot of these changes now don't look necessary because I'm not having to maintain this ID. So I actually might delete some of those changes. Hey Slayer Darth, how's it going? Doing pretty well myself. Had a kind of brain melting day working on other projects. Mostly because it seems like the errors I've been running into today are largely composed of dependencies and things I did not write and don't know how to debug until I learn more about them. So I spent a whole long day digging through dependencies and some dependencies in a package.json file and trying to figure out whose dependency of a dependency got unexpectedly upgraded and broke. I still didn't figure it out, but it got to be about time we wanted to stream, so I gave up for now. Are you working on a new side project? What kind of side project, might I ask? Yeah, let's delete some of this stuff. I don't actually need these IDs. I'm using that. I'm not using those two lines. So I'm just kind of backing out some of the changes I did earlier because they're not strictly necessary. What else we got here? And I should clean up this a little bit since it's super hacky right now. Not too bad, I guess, but I don't need this ID. We don't need that ID. There we go. Image classification in WordPress. Oh, that's cool. So kind of like automatic image classification. There we go. Alright, so now I think I'm down to... Well, I guess I don't need this class name either. I'm going to leave that class there. That's going to help me in styling. What on earth is this song? I'm gonna just skip over this song. Alright, so I'm down to some minimal changes there. That's cool. That's all the CSS I've added so far. Okay. That is kind of tying off the loose ends of what I was doing on Wednesday, is just trying to get this button there so I can start styling the thing. So what I'm missing now is I don't have the comps and whatnot, the designs open from last time, so I gotta fetch those. Did I download them? No, I didn't download them. Let me find the bug. To the GitHub module. So that's my fork of Firefox color. This is the Mozilla upstream fork, and what I'm looking for is issue, I believe it's 308. Yeah, let users add images to FF color, Firefox color. Yeah, it is difficult figuring out what project to do next. At least I agree, I find that difficult. I was just showing at the beginning of the stream that I was playing with some CSS last night to build a literal wheel of side projects. So I may play it's kind of vomity, but I might make a wheel of all the projects I want to work on and literally spin this wheel at the start of a stream and just do whatever it tells me to do. We'll see if I actually do that though. Could be fun. Could also be it picks a project for me and I'm like, oh god, why do I want to work on this one? This is a terrible idea. This project, at least, I have to work on it. Because I've agreed to do that as a member of my team. At least that choice is made for me. What am I doing? Oh yeah, I'm looking for the specs. Yeah, I was playing around with CSS animations last night because I haven't really wrapped my head around them, and I kind of figured out enough to make that thing spin. It's actually kind of neat. It's at least what CSS can do now is kind of neat because I haven't played around with translations and animations and stuff yet. But it's just an unordered list that I managed to wrap some CSS around and turn it into a wheel. So that makes it super easy at some point to turn into. Yeah, so it's just an unordered list. And then a little bit of CSS. The hard part is trying to come up with variable numbers of items on the wheel. It's pretty cool. I threw a little bit of I guess a little bit of English on the spin, so it spins backwards and then spins forward and goes a little bit and then comes back. Kind of makes it look like I just spun it. Then we'll see. I may Saturday night or Sunday night start up a stream to hack on this as a side project, so then I have a tool to tell me what side project to stream next. The shaven yak is nearly hairless at this point. Alright, so what I'm trying to do now... At some point you want to study higher level mathematics. Yeah, you know, I keep meaning... So I've got a comp sci degree. I went as high as calculus. I got a C in calculus. Keep thinking I should try that again. So I should be able to understand it. I don't know anything higher than calculus, and I don't remember calculus at all, so... I have found a use for, like, trigonometry and algebra in my everyday programming life, but when it gets anything higher than that, I'm kind of at a loss. But it's one of those things where I'm like, am I not smart enough to understand that kind of math? Maybe I'm not. It's also the kind of thing where I think like anyone can understand it if they have the time to look into it. At least it looks like this spec is rendering for me this time. When I was trying it on Wednesday, I kept getting a blank screen. But maybe it'll cooperate this time. Because what I want to do is turn this bit of crap, it's my terrible engineering UI, into this much nicer bit of user experience design. So the first thing I'm going to have to do is, I think, convert these things into a nice row. I might use some Flexbox to do that. Good understanding of mathematics is good for even front-end developers. Yeah, I'd agree with that for sure. Like, I think some good algebra is a ground floor, at least. At least algebra, because you may need to figure out ratios and solve formulas and, you know, things I think I end up doing without even quite thinking about them. Trigonometry too, for like, I really kind of refreshed myself on trigonometry when I was trying to do a little bit of game development and wanted to figure out how do I rotate and make things move. How tall is this? So this is a nice thing in the projects I've worked with. When I've worked with these sketch exports from user experience designers, it's nice because they can slap measurements on them, and some of them come with bits of suggested CSS over here, so I can, like, I don't have to guess about the colors and whatnot. So all right, we're seeing that they're pixel elements, so this will be 72 pixels tall. So let's see about that. I can kind of roughly start to get this into shape. So what am I calling these things? Calling them a custom background item. I was going to start trying to rough it out here. Say, height 72 pixels. I was going to say width. Just for visibility's sake. Well, I am a terrible designer, terrible CSS wizard. So what you're gonna see is me just absolutely stumbling through all this. I know folks on the team who can just like bust through CSS like a native language, and that's not me. Yeah, so I went to Central Michigan University here in the States. And also I went to a high school and I had math and all levels of school. And the thing that frustrated me when I was at university is I ran into a lot of math classes that were purely theory, and the professors kind of assumed you were going to go on to be a math major. And so me being a comp sci major, I kind of wanted to see, all right, how can I use this in my programming? And I had one professor in linear algebra who was almost mean about it. he didn't want to hear questions on applicability of it. So I ended up, I think I failed linear algebra the first time through. The second time I took it, a different professor showed us how linear algebra could be used in 3D transformations with matrices or matrices. And that like lodged in my brain, and I got an A in the class then. So as soon as I heard like, oh yeah, you can use it in programming to take a set of points in 3D space and map them down to a 2D space and then draw them with your program, then I was like, oh, this is a useful tool now. I can use this instead of making us go through proofs and with axioms and all this stuff. Like I understand the concept of the proofs and yada yada, but it just kept bouncing off my brain like water off a duck's back until I could hear how I could use it. And calculus. I think the professor I had for calculus was a friend of my first linear algebra teacher, and they both really loved the abstract part of math. And I was like, how do you use calculus? They're like, what do you mean use it? Just turn in your proofs. So that was frustrating. To this day, I understand what calculus can do, but I don't remember how to do anything in it. Linear algebra, I'm a lot more refreshed on, but yeah, here I'm running into that issue where it's killing my theme every time I reload. But I have some saved themes with images. All right, here we go. Oh, this is what's going on here. So I've got this thing participating in a layout, and I want it to break out of that. So let's see. Did I just remove a class from that? Not really, because it's part of this grid, right? How do I do this? Theme builder as this. There we go. Let me just do this real quick. This is going to break some things. This is kind of a trash way to do it, but I'm just going to do this for now. I just want to break that background picker out of the grid that it's in. Is my hot reloading just not working? Ah, there it goes. I'm just impatient. Okay, so I just broke that out of there. Oh yeah, that is a bit of algebra I now don't remember how to do, is like vectoring equations and whatnot. So I've learned that stuff at one point, but I haven't used it, so it's fallen directly out of my head. I've really found that that's my thing, and maybe that's the thing for a lot of people, so I'm not particularly weird, but some folks love theory, some folks find that the puzzle they want to solve, and I want to learn these things as part of solving a different problem. So like, I'll totally restudy and refresh myself on trigonometry if I want to learn how to make a spaceship go pew 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 on the screen. But to just learn it for the love of pure math, I understand the love of that and the propensity for that, but it's not where I'm interested. But yeah, I totally want to see, like, if I look up a math tutorial online, I'd like to see this math is good for this. And I don't even mean like word problems. I just mean like, we'd like to figure out this problem, and here's the tool to do it. That gonna work? Okay, yeah, cool. What's going on down here? Anyway. I'm gonna keep forging ahead. So definitely one of the things I need to do here is stop letting this be styled like a list, because it is not in fact a list. An unordered list is a nice little semi-semantic structure to use here, but it's not what I want. What are we calling this? Do we have an unordered list somewhere? I know I do. There it is. No, that's not where it is. There it is. It doesn't have a class name attached. Okay, so. I can't spell. Background lists. Let's do a thing like list style. Is it list style type? My syntax highlighting thinks so. You know what I want to do? This is super convenient. If you've never used it before, it's super convenient. It's the style editor built into DevTools. The only thing that is unfortunate about it is it works great if you're editing raw CSS, if your project does not use Sass or less or anything like that, because you can edit the CSS here and save it directly to your project. You can use this as your like live style editor. But this is all a derived artifact. This is all code derived by way of Sass and Webpack. So any edits I make to this are going to be hard to port back into my project. But it's a really rewarding interface because it applies them directly there. Let's see, can I find... But I might edit it anyways because it's quicker than my reload loops. Custom back trong. How did I get trong out of background? There we go. So this is the CSS that's being pulled out of my my source file. I'm gonna tweak around with it right now. In fact, I wonder. Someone's had to have run into this before. It'd be nice if there's an add-on or something. Live editing Sass and less in Firefox Developer Tools. A 4-year-old blog post. Man, my... One of the cats brushed by my face earlier, and now my nose is super itchy because of cat fur. Maybe a little TMA, I don't know. Pass unless or yada yada yada. Generate the source map, enable source maps. Instead of file watching. Oh, I see. Huh. Okay, well, Huh. I think I have source maps working. Because I see what they're doing. So they use the source map to get to the Sass source. They let you edit the original source, and then your Webpack or whatever builds it again, then they reload the derived artifact. Let me try that. No. I must be missing something, or 4-year-old, or things have changed since that 4-year-old blog post about DevTools. Huh. Well, that's in a different view, though. That's in the inspector. I thought I had source maps turned on. Yeah, show original sources. You know what? Let's back up a second. I'm gonna see if I don't in fact have source maps turned on, because it would be really super handy if I could just edit from the browser. Ugh. This is real yak shaving in progress, I guess. Because my biggest problem is I don't understand CSS super well right in my head, so I really have to iterate. So, like, you know, tweak one property at a time, see what it does, try it again, iterate until it looks right. My styles, there's my style loader. Huh. I've got a source map turned on, but I think that's for JavaScript. Source maps with Webpack CSS load. Class loader. Okay. Well, I think that's not an option I have turned on. So let's see about that. What say you? So options. I thought I had source maps turned on, but apparently I do not. It'd be really nice if this worked. Source map, loader, style loader, CSS, yada yada yada. I don't know if it's going to work with that extract CSS though. Let's try it though. If not, well then what I might do is just edit the derived CSS and try to copy it back as best as I can once it looks right. Because editing in the style editor in the browser is so much faster than editing in my text editor, waiting for a reload or waiting for a repack, then reloading the page. It's the whole reason we do like hot module reloading and things like that. Or top module replacement. Oh. I've been streaming for about an hour. I've had a tiny bit of progress. Here are some fireworks. I should fix that. Oh, you know what? The process for that is super low priority. Let me bump that up a little bit. What? Stop moving. Dang you. See anybody hanging out in the channel? If you feel like distracting me with some fireworks, go for it. Bang boom. First number is the number of fireworks to launch. Second number is the number of 60ths of a second over which to spread them. It's supposed to run at 60 frames a second. And there's some limits on it. If you throw like 10,000 at each of them, it will not go as high as 10,000. Okay, so my build worked. Do we have source maps? I guess I couldn't reload the page to see for sure. I was going to look in the file system, but... Oh, wait, actually, that's interesting. I just saw a glimpse of .scss over here. I see CSS. Are we gonna get... Oh, and they all just changed to SCSS. What I'm worried about, though, now that I see that, is that index SCSS is going to be okay. So maybe. Oh, hello there, kitty. Maybe since I enabled source maps, I will be able to edit that CSS directly. Well, I won't, because I guess what it's going to do is it's going to take what I'm editing and run through Webpack. And rebuild, but it would be nice if I can do it here. Well, let's see what happens. Let's see how that works. I'll load a theme. That looks like my music stopped. That is suboptimal. Next, please. Actually, you know what? How about we... Oh no! Oh, what you doing, kitty? Oh, I guess it's time to hold the kitty. Hi, kitty. She's been asleep on my desk all day, and now she decides she needs a shoulder. All right, let's see if I can still work through this. What was I doing? Oh yeah, I was gonna... you have to lay this way. He doesn't like laps. Grabbing my headset cord. Yes. You like that, don't you? Okay. Let me try this real quick. What happens if I save? Okay, so it's going to want me to give it a place to save it. Yeah, I think when I started my stream, I promised there would be cats. And when I'm streaming, they're usually asleep. But this one has suddenly decided it is not time to sleep, it is time to jump on me. Oh, where are we going with this? Oh yeah, web. That's kind of unfortunate that Firefox can't just discover where this came from, but maybe the source map doesn't have enough info. Because I believe... Oof. Came from here. If I save it, what happens? I wanted to give all the background items red border. Well, my music still has not started back up. Oh, that's right, because the music player crashed and then the cat jumped on. Start that back up. Hello, kitty. You know, it's not as nice if you're like off camera. You at least should be able to show you off. Try. I like this song. You get impatient. Oh, where are you going? Oh, do you want a lap? Here, have a lap. I'm just gonna put my legs to sleep, but that's alright. Don't eat my headphones. Alright, well that doesn't seem to have worked. Oops. Music is skipping because it crashed, then I restarted it, and I gotta give the process high priority again because my CPU is trash. Okay, there we go. Reload this. I guess it's kind of lewd, but I could have a lap cam if I end up having cats in my lap a lot. Didn't work like I hoped it would, I don't think. Seriously, computer, what's going on? Yeah, so it processed in the background. That is not the experience I really want. Unfortunately. Okay, bye-bye, kitty. That was an unsatisfactory lap experience for her, I guess. Basically what I've been trying to do in the last, like, 15 minutes or so is see if I could get a better CSS editing experience using the original SAS sources, which is not quite working. So I'm going to abort that little experiment and go back to what I was going to do, which is I'm going to edit the raw CSS until it looks how I want it to, and then copy-paste that over into the SAS. Let's see how that works. Build is going. Our build is very slow. Trying to think if there's anything else on my computer that I can exit out of to make this run a little faster. This is rather terrible. I was running all of this up on an Ubuntu machine in AWS. I may end up going back to that. You know what? I am going to do that. I'm getting really tired of how slow this process is. Let me see if I can export this work from my machine. What's different in Webpack Common? Oh, that's when I was trying to make the source map edits. Yeah, oops. Yeah, well, whatever. Okay. They're all progress commits anyways. This is all a branch, so I'm going to clean up these commits anyway, so this is just a way of getting the work off my machine. Ow. I'm going to see about firing up my EC2 machine and try to outsource some of my CPU cycles. How about... Yeah, I guess I could do that. all I have going on in Chrome right now is just my my Twitch dashboard, so I can just see chat and whatnot. I'm gonna try that too and see if it's killing Chrome. Gives me a few cycles back. And hopefully I don't have to restart Firefox, because all I'm doing is playing around with themes. The only reason I've got it open in Chrome is just to have a browser unaffected by my development activities, but maybe that's a bridge too far. It's a really nice, tiny laptop. 13-inch laptop. Very portable. I just can't do anything. Or at least, I can't do anything while I'm streaming. Because so, part of my theory, my hypothesis anyways, it's got like 16 megs of RAM. And I think it's got like an Intel i7 core, whatchamacallit, 2.4 gig, whatever. What it does not have, it does not have a discrete graphics card of any kind or hardware video encoding. So my hypothesis is when I stream, all the video encoding is happening in software. So I think that's eating up a bunch of my CPU. That's my guess, which could be incorrect. And so what I've been trying to do off and on is I have been trying to toss my Webpack build. What? That's what? That's a weird error. That is not an error I have seen from an Ubuntu window before. Yeah, I'm thinking I'm due for a laptop refresh this next May, which is a ways off, but I went from a 2015 MacBook Pro, which was pretty satisfactory, to this Dell 13-inch XPS machine. I think whenever I get my next laptop refresh, I'm going to get maybe another Dell, maybe a ThinkPad, but whatever it is, I'm going to get the big one. Like at this point, I don't care that it's physically large because it's on my desk 90% of the time. It needs to go with me occasionally, but I would like it to be the one with all the things. I mean, it is really nice to like throw this thing in a tiny hip bag and carry it with me wherever, but just, I guess, after dealing with this a bit, portability is nice, but I guess give me the jet engine with the turbines that's 6 inches thick and make sure it's got all the bells and whistles that run things. Because sometimes I feel like this thing, because every now and then I'll try to do things like, I don't know, I'll compile Firefox, which that's a pretty large software application. It's usually built itself pretty fast on other machines I've had. Like, I don't know, 15, 20 minutes from a cold start and nothing else built. Well, this thing took 2 hours. So, actually no, it took 4 hours. And that was when I just like set it up overnight before bed to build. It's faster to build when it can do incremental builds, but like, it's a pretty machine, it's a nice machine, it's a light machine, it's just, I think I'm asking it to do too much, playing music and streaming and building software. And I'm totally mystified by this sudden error in this Ubuntu shell. But I used this earlier today and it was not doing this. Ah well. Well, I did in fact close Chrome, and now I've got my Twitch dashboard and another Firefox window. I was going to use that Ubuntu window to SSH into my remote server, but maybe that's not in the cards. I've been streaming for about hour and 20 minutes. I got about 40 minutes left scheduled for this. I have been way less productive than I intended to be. But we'll see if I can get back on track here. Oh, I just saw a tiny sliver of spare CPU. Maybe I can use that sliver to build my software. Let's give up on EC2 for now. I'll figure it out later. I kind of don't want to occupy the whole stream with wrestling with that. I actually would like to work on my CSS. A few streams back, I was actually trying... Oops. Run. A few streams back, I was actually trying to work mostly out of a remote desktop session out to my EC2 box. Then the problem I ran into is network latency ended up being too painful. I've also got the files mounted over NFS. That ended up being kind of frustrating. Alright, well this build seems to be going a little faster. Maybe killing a few things helped me a bit. Okay, let's try it again. I'm telling you, there is a large recursive stack of shaven yaks happening on my stream today. And someday, I will get the work done. Oh, maybe the site is still building. I guess that was just the add-on I just built. The add-on builds so much faster. Yeah, I can see in the processes the site is still building. Ay, ay, ay. There we go. Okay. Maybe it won't take as long next go round. There we go. My theme is updated. The site's reloading. Blah, 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 blah. Okay. Back to what I was trying to do. Maybe I can edit some of the CSS. Forget about these tabs. I was also playing around with dual booting this machine into Linux to see, into Ubuntu, to see if, I don't know if maybe that'd be a little lighter on the CPU. I got the dual booting to work, I got Ubuntu installed, it got up to a desktop, I got things kind of started to get squared away so I could get to work. I plugged it into my USB-C hub, and now the machine randomly freezes within the first 10 minutes of using the machine. Like hard freeze, nothing works. I have to hold down the power button to turn the machine off. So I can get Ubuntu working on here if I don't connect any peripherals. And that's part of why I stopped using Linux on a desktop 15 years ago. Because that kind of thing always happens to me, and I know there are fixes probably somewhere, but it's that whole rabbit hole of going down and figuring out, alright, what package and what kernel do I have to install, and blah 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 blah. All of that. What did I name that thing? Oh, it's background list. Right? No? Oh no, don't look in the page, look in the source editor. Look in the style editor, you goof. I want to edit background list. Take me to that CSS, thank you. I'm gonna dock that to the right. I'm gonna shrink that because I don't want to look at it. Yeah, so what I'm gonna do here is this is editing the derived CSS. But I'm gonna edit the derived CSS and then like copy and paste my changes into my Sass. See, the experience I've had with Linux from time to time is that the older your hardware, the better luck I have, because then folks have had time to fix the drivers and blah blah blah. But that's also, I think, like your mileage may vary. Yeah, and I guess if the hardware is so old, you may actually literally have hardware failure. What is this? Yeah, I mean, the other thing I could kill is I could kill my music player, but that is actually... I like that too much. I'd almost be happy if I just had a stream of me staring at the camera listening to this music. Alright, so I did this much at least. I got, oh no, why are you giving me percentages? I want pixel size. Ugh. Screen now permanently jitters. That's no bueno. Sometimes I don't understand this Scritch output. When it works, it's great, but sometimes it gives me things I don't want. Like, how did I get... It was just giving me pixel measurements a minute ago. And now it's giving me nothing. This is a highly unsatisfying stream. What are you doing? Back export. All my tools are broken today. Nothing's quite going right. Maybe I need to reboot, I don't know. I mean, there's obviously something happening here. I don't know if it's not loading a background image or what the deal is. Unless it's maybe a weird interaction with Firefox color itself. Which, that should not happen unless it's a browser bug. I haven't had those kind of problems with Windows before, but they don't sound like unfamiliar problems. Could you load the specs? Yeah, I don't know if it's trying to load an image in the background or what the deal is. Please load all the things. I don't know, yeah, maybe it is waiting to load some things in the background. This is very annoying. Wow, Jiminy Cricket, those are some large images. Yeah, I don't know, maybe this pit there goes, maybe I'm just being really impatient and this thing's not rendering because my computer's being nasty slow. There are the pixel measurements again, okay, that's what I wanted! Jiminy Cricket, okay. Pixel measurements. So I want to figure out what are the height of like these buttons. Got about a half hour left in the stream. Maybe I can hustle and get this stuff working. And then over the weekend, maybe I'll bang my head against this stuff and see if I can get myself into a better position with my development rig here. No, what I think I'm going to be doing in the future is only streaming Wednesday and Friday with during the day. So I think I'm not going to stream on Monday, but what I might do instead is switch to my gaming machine, which is much more powerful than this, and try streaming Saturday night. My time anyway, Saturday night. I'll have to figure out what time that might be time zone wise, but Saturday or Sunday night I might do a side project stream, and that should be a much better computer to work with. I'm tempted to drag that machine up to my work desk here, but it's the machine I like to play video games on at night, so I don't want to drag that to my desk. And this thing works tolerably well when I'm not streaming, so I'm pretty sure it's the streaming that's eating up most of my CPUs, so who knows. But we'll see how it goes if I try to stream with a side project, not using this computer. Because I've been complaining about how slow this thing is on almost every stream. And that is, that's no way to run a stream. Yeah, I remember. So we're missing some buttons here. So here's, I guess, a thing I want to do. I'm going to turn this into Flex Layout. And add some components to it. So why don't we say just install Arch on the machine? Yeah, well, I do think most of my problems are that there is no hardware video encoder on this machine. Here's the page I always open when I forget how to do Flex. If I can remember to click in the right spot. There's another thing too. Someone told me what the name of this phenomena or whatever is the gap between when you tell the computer to do a thing and it actually does it, and what your brain does while that's happening. And how you slow down to the pace of the machine, even in terms of your thinking. And I have to look that up because that sounds like a freaky phenomenon that I don't quite believe, but I do feel dumb right now. Flex direction. So yeah, I'm just going to lay out these background items with flexbox. Actually, I really like this song. I'm going to favorite that real quick. So, display flex. Flex direction, row. What else do I need to do? Justify content. don't think I want to do that yet. I'll play around with it. A line item center, I guess. Yes, just right to it. I know who wrote to it last. It was me, and it was from the browser, so bugger off. Okay. I want to bring in some of these images. Now, I'm missing some icons, so I'm just going to reuse the icons I have. And bother folks. Oh, where did the images go? Why? Okay. Okay, so we got left, center, right. Left, center, right. Icon align left. Center. So I've got drop downs right now. I'm going to convert them into these icons. We also have icon align top, center, bottom. Neat little thing I like in Vim is you can do things like select in a column or in a block and replace that way. Top, center, bottom. And yeah, actually these aren't consts, these are imports. And I've always found this kind of weird, but imports are what Webpack uses to identify dependencies. I'm pretty sure that, I'm actually not sure what all these icons will end up being. Oof. Yeah, I actually only have 2 of the alignment icons when I need all 6, so I'll end up bugging someone about that at some point. But I'm just going to use the images I have for now. And try to get this styled. At least my editor works. And now what I want to do with these, such as they are, I'm going to stick them down here. I'm trying to remember, you know what, actually I'm going to forget the names of these as soon as they're out of sight, so I'm going to do an editor split. Is to keep them in sight so my goldfish memory doesn't lose them immediately. Because the bit of the file I need to edit is down here. And so what I can do... I'll probably do some of these with CSS, actually. Not the alignment icons, though. Oh, Dropbox. So thirsty. Okay. Let's just see how these icons look for now. I think the first ones are all H-align. And I want to say they're... Oh, why are you doing percentages? How does this happen? This makes me feel dumb. When I last tabbed to this, they were showing me pixel measurements. Now they're showing me percentage of the mock-up page. And that's why I reloaded, and that's why I got frustrated if the image is not loading. Why does this tool switch between pixels and percentages? Can I double click? Can I do something? Is there something I'm missing here? Can I shift click? I don't know. Can I control click? This tool is nice a lot of times because it gives me the measurements from the designers, so I don't have to figure them out myself, but it does inexplicable things every now and then because I think there's just something I'm missing about it. Yeah. Alright. Keep scratching my nose. Got cat fur up it. Come on, little buddy, you can do this. Maybe I can sneak in here and find where I was. Get those measurements. Nope. I'm nowhere near it. Alright. So when I reload the page, I get pixel measurements again. But apparently, I do something that I haven't noticed myself doing, and they switch to percentage measurements. No me gusta. Alright, so these buttons are 32 by 32. The icon inside, 13 by 16. That's the information I was trying to derive it. It just happened underneath my mouse. Oh, I just hit the Alt button? The Alt button changes it back and forth? What garbage is this? I don't like this. Okay. Well, at least I know how to fix that now, even though it's inexplicable. No other key does it, just Alt. So, obviously, it's when I'm Alt-tabbing back and forth. Thanks for the fireworks. Yay, fireworks. Alright, so at least I know now. Yeah, so it's when I'm Alt-tabbing back and forth. We'll throw some more fireworks out there. Okay. Let's do this. What? Didn't I just put a bunch of images in here? Oh, no, I didn't finish doing it. Okay. So what I want to do is something like line button. It's a very frustrating day today on the LM Orchard stream, and I'm trying to get some work done. And I'm not succeeding very well. Okay. Now it says again, 13 by 16. Yeah, okay, I see it. Yeah. 13 by 16. So some of this I'll probably end up putting into CSS. I just want to see how it works for now. Then eventually I'll hook these up to some event handlers and we'll have ourselves a stew of CSS. I'm wondering if I drag this off screen, I'm wondering if the images will stay loaded. It's like whenever I put it into a background tab, the images go away and have to be reloaded by the time I come back to it. And I keep flipping back and forth and referring to it often. Let's see, custom background item, and I want to be able to say line button. These are 32 by 32. I'm going to have to center the icons in them. What's that background color? Maybe if I Alt-tab to this. The normal ones are white, right? Normal ones are white. These are covered. I see. There's an opacity too. Well, let's just do this for now. I'm just going to make them all hover state so that you can see them. So, you know, what's frustrating is this is the work I wanted to have been into 1 hour and 44 minutes ago. And as it is, I'm probably going to wrap this up in about 15 minutes. But, you know, I guess that's how it goes. Maybe I'll hit the ground running by like next Wednesday or something. Or maybe I will have thrown my computer in the ocean. I mean, at least the flex box worked, so this much worked. So I've got them in rows now, and we can drag and drop them. I just need to continue the effort to apply the new UI to them, and to stop this text highlighting thing, which is bizarre. Well, I guess it's not that bizarre. I thought I changed the DOM here. Yeah, they're all align buttons. Oh, you know what? React hates this. React wants class name. I don't think that's my issue, but you know, just for fun. Let's put them all in there. Okay, well that hot module replacement's working at least, but my CSS doesn't seem to be getting applied. Is that the correct syntax? I know there's spans, maybe I need to do a... Oh, I know, that was the other thing I wanted to do. Dang it. Gotta stop editing that in Vim. Or editing it in the browser. With the style editor. The last thing I need is to be put to sleep right now. Next song, please. No. Alright, well, we'll stick with this. Alright. We got our theme. Our theme has buttons. The CSS is applied. We're back where we need to be in there. Let's say, what's the spacing between these things? They are... get out of percentage mode. Okay, so they're 18 pixels away from each other. And the notion will be, once I get these all working, you click on one of these. And it'll be selected. And that will take the place of these drop downs. But then I gotta get that centered in there. So within our align button, you know, centering is difficult sometimes. What I might do is just say display flex direction column justify content center why I don't know, that's got it. Well, no, that doesn't quite have it because I also want to do... Does that do it? Yeah. So that's a cheating way to center things when you have access to Flexbox, I guess. All right. So the thing about this background is it should only turn on for the selected one. Okay, well let me take what I got so far and copy it on over to my SAS. And what's annoying about this is when I have to boil it back down to SAS. At least it's just right. And again, the reason why I'm editing it in the browser is because I really want the immediate feedback of like property by property tweaks. Because I'm terrible at CSS. But at least when I'm editing it in the style editor, I can see what's happening. Now I guess the next thing I want to do here, actually I'm going to do real quick. This is bugging me. Can I do that? Why? No parser, no fit. Yeah, it's in there, bite me. Maybe we won't do that, and that bothers me, but whatever. So what I do is group these, so I can say, and that's going to break our flex box, but whatever. So I want, say align group. I'm going to break these into 2 groups of 3, and they're going to be 18 pixels apart. And these align groups are also going to be flexboxes. And flexbox is great. I haven't played with CSS Grid a whole lot yet. Yeah, what is happening now? Laggy buffering, yeah, looks like my OBS is down to... it dropped a few frames. My computer is trash. Line group. I don't need to structure my SAS like this, but it gives me a warm and fuzzy feeling to make it look more like more hierarchical. There's left 18 pixels. Display flex, blah, 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 blah. I'm going to copy pasta that. How about that? Now the problem with editing my CSS in Style Editor is I don't really edit the DOM that way. Well, that's not at all what I have. Well, that makes me unhappy. Looks like it built. Let's try it again. Well, now what did I do here? Did it not in fact update my component? Oh, I didn't save the file. So the syntax I'm using for the source is SAS. And then in the browser, I'm trying to edit the raw or the post-processed CSS. There's probably a better way to do all of this. I shouldn't be banging my head against it like this. Alright, well my groups worked. So I've got that at least. I've got that going for me. What I'm also going to do is... this is eventually going to be UI logic. But yeah, so this is all... run through a SAS preprocessor, becomes CSS. But it's just too long. Even though it's doing like file watchers and all that stuff, I really want to see it change property by property when I'm editing it in the browser. Oh yeah, that's what I want. So... and I could probably flatten these rules a bit and not have to nest them like this, but... it makes more sense to me that way. Man, I am really feeling some allergies today. Alright, been about an hour and 55. I think I got like 5-10 minutes left and I'll end up calling it a day. Does SAS convert color values automatically? No, actually, this RGBA is a valid color in CSS, which I didn't know until the last few years. You can use hex or you can use RGBA. And that gives you transparency, which is pretty cool. So you can use keywords, you can use RGB and RGBA, you can use HSL, HSLA, or you can use hex. Those are all the color names. But yeah, so you can use hex, you can use short hex, and then you can use these weird functions. So yeah, SAS actually doesn't do that for you, but it's just built into the browser these days. I'm trying to remember, it seems like a fairly recent thing, but by recent, I might have been around for a few years, I don't know. RGB notation has been around since forever. Yeah, I guess RGB and HSL have been around since at least Firefox 3. Which I had never heard of that until a UX designer threw some CSS at me where that was working. But I still think in terms of hex colors. Alright, so those are looking a little closer to the spec. I'm gonna, actually what I can do now is I can turn the clear background into an X. And actually I'm gonna, for now, I'm gonna hide these selectors. So yeah, so these buttons I just threw in there are gonna replace this whole select thing. I just quite haven't gotten to doing that yet. Now in React, if I recall, I can comment out code like that. Oh, I see. I don't think it converts it. Yeah, no, in SAS, so... yeah, sorry, I was like... misunderstood your question. So yeah, no, I don't think SAS converts it, because here is the actual CSS output from SAS, and it's still got the RGBA in there. So yeah, if you want to change the color dynamically, actually, if you want to use CSS variables, I'm not sure about that. SAS has its own variables, but I don't know that those interact with CSS variables. I'm gonna have to look into that, so I might not actually know how to answer what you're asking. Try that. This should be an image, but I don't have an X image. What's that look like? I'm curious. How does SAS interact with CSS variables? CSS for variables in SAS. Yeah, because Sass has its own variables. Well, yeah, so I guess it looks like you could use Sass to output CSS variables syntax, and then the browser will handle the CSS variables. I don't know if this is anywhere close to what you're asking about. I have to play with that. Wait, why has this got a background now? What did I do? Oh, I see. I think it was just because I highlighted it in the inspector or something. Well, that X is there. And the X works. The X is in the wrong spot. Okay, and then, what else we got? We want to style this drop down. Retry, I think. Oh, retry is if the image doesn't reload. You'll say replace image, so we want to move our image importer. There's some things we're going to have to split out of the image importer. So my image importer right now combines the preview image and the upload image button. So we'll have to change that a bit. What I can do, I guess, yeah, so I'm going to take out, I don't want, yeah, this should not have, that's not it. Image importer. Image importer doesn't need this. Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah, they're not like native built into the browser variables, and yeah, for sure, Sass variables are basically locked and frozen at the point of compiling the CSS. But I mean, it looks like what you might be able to do with Sass anyways, I don't know about less, but Sass, you can use Sass to compile Sass variables into CSS variables, and then those CSS variables show up in your output CSS. So then I imagine you could change those from JavaScript. So this is the output of Sass, and the output from Sass includes CSS variables. Yeah, so it looks like what this example is mapping Sass variables down to CSS variables. What I don't know what it does, I don't know if it, because one of your original questions was whether it messes around with the RGBA stuff. That I don't know. I'd imagine it'll just, because I haven't used less, so I don't know what like automatic conversions it does, but I know Sass, you can just tell it literally just spit this out. And I think if these were RGBAs, it would be RGBA here. And you could probably change those from JavaScript, but I'm totally guessing and I haven't tried it. I might have to try it for my own education. But I think you could do something like this. Like you could output CSS variables from Sass, and it won't, it shouldn't mess with them. So I've got this nice little self-contained image importer component, and I'm thinking I'm going to have to explode it such that such that its state pops up into the rest of the... So when I'm looking at the design here, I've got this little self-contained image uploader. And it provides a button, it provides the thumbnail, it provides this random metadata, it even does a bit of validation. But that's all wrapped up in this image, this one image component, and I've embedded the image component in the row. But according to the design, the row wants the elements I currently have as part of this nice little component put in different places. So I think I need to refactor this image uploader component a little bit again. Yeah, just fine. And the only reason I have, because I could make the entire row be the image uploader component, but I also reuse it for this button right here. There's a thing I was just looking at that talked about how to make either a higher order component, or you could like, what the heck was that? There was a pattern I was seeing in React that you could easily hoist state. But it might have been a React pattern? Render props? It's funny, I was just reading an article about this and being like, oh yeah, that sounds great. I totally understand that. Because what I want to do is have the little import button encapsulate and control the image uploading functionality. Render prop. I don't think this is exactly what I want. Maybe it is. Maybe I want to make a higher order component that provides image uploading services to its children as a utility. And then in the children, I can distribute the bits or however I want. Yeah, maybe. Maybe this is what I need to do. Alright, let's reshape this real quick. I'm actually at time for the stream, but I want to do this real quick. Well, it's probably not even going to be real quick, is it? I feel like after all the technical difficulties, I finally started getting productive. And now I'm going to have to might have to call it soon, because there's other stuff I got planned after this. Oh, I remember what the render props thing was. Yeah, okay. So the whole thing about the render prop pattern is I could do something like this. I could say, instead of image importer being a child component, I could say image importer, and the children are actually a function, and the child is a function. Yeah. So rather than giving it, okay, but let me sort out my thoughts here. You can create kind of like a higher order component like this. And rather than What am I giving this thing? Yeah, so you can say rather than pass elements or tags or components into this thing, you can pass it a function. And in this way, this kind of higher order component can share its state with the including component. And the state I want to share, you know, this will make this easy. I'm going to stare at this component. This is two splits on the same file. I'm going to stare at the state in here and kind of doodle out what I want. So I want image importer to share its importing state, its error state, too large, wrong type, and what am I going to do with this? I'm going to hand this a button. I may be doing completely the wrong thing, but this pattern just suddenly reoccurred to me, and I think it's what I wanted to do. But then over here, what I could do... Yeah, why don't I do... So I'm kind of turning this into a higher order component. Yeah, I don't want this to be a function. I want this to be... Yeah, I could be doing this entirely the wrong way, but we'll see when I get around to try and actually reshape things to use it. So I'm kind of flipping this component inside out. And rather than make it a self-contained component that a parent can use, it's going to be an wrapping component that ships parts into the thing it wraps. And yeah, I also want to hand off, like, image. Okay. Not super happy with this, but let's see. So I've turned this into kind of a higher order component, and I'm going to use it down here. I'm not using it this way anymore. This is a weird little component. And the syntax looks totally disgusting. So I may fully regret what I'm doing right now. Yeah, so I'm just kind of trying to flip this inside out a bit. And hopefully it makes sense when I'm done. Where's my CSS? There's my CSS. Use image importer anywhere? I do use image importer down here. Let's just let's hoist that into a different part of the styles. It's all about code reuse, I guess. Because I want to reuse this file import functionality in two different ways. And man, this is ugly. We'll see how it works out after I'm done uglifying it. Say hello to the cops going by my house. How long is this? Yeah, we got about 30 seconds left. Yeah, so... yeah. Okay, I think it's getting there. Yeah, and what I put down here is... this is where the import button goes. Okay. That's looking... better? No, it's not. This is ugly as hell. Okay. Hello again, Slayer Darth. You're just in time to watch me destroy a React component. You had to restart your laptop to get it to recognize your Logitech headphone. That sounds about right. Okay. Now I'm doing this in this spot. There's one other place that's using this component. That's up here. I'm going to do this dance again. Save that. So I'm trying. So this might be too clever, but I'm trying to use this. What is the pattern called? React prop, render prop. So rather than embed the image importer as a button, I'm turning it into a wrapping higher order component that takes a function as its children so that it can pass those children bits of its own internal state. So this project is Firefox Color, and it's broken right now on my machine, but you can see color.firefox.com is the working production version. And it's an editor to customize the theme in your Firefox. And the website itself should work in any browser. And once you have installed the add-on in Firefox, the theme that you edit in the browser gets pulled into the browser itself. So you can use it to customize different bits of the user interface. And what I'm working on right now is the ability to import your own images, because the live version only lets you pick from a set of predefined images. And what I'm trying to do is add the support to import your own images. Do I know much about the Web Speech API? No. I know it exists, and I know some folks working on it, but I don't know much about it myself. Ay. Alright. Well, actually, I am at time for this stream. I know what I'm doing, what I want to do next. I don't know if what I'm doing is working. I think I'm gonna have to call it for today. But hopefully I can leave this in a state that I remember what I was doing. Actually, I'm gonna do this. Yeah, that's about right. Alright. Thanks for everybody who's been watching. I'm gonna have to call it for today. Hopefully I'll be back on next Wednesday, but I might be back this Saturday night doing a totally different project. Maybe even someday I'll come up with a good closing screen for this thing. For now, see you next time.